In Andor, Gerrera recently listed off a ton of rebel cells. He mentions Anto Krieger as a Separatist, Maya Pei as a Neo-Republican, and then he rattles off the Gorman Front, the Partisan Alliance, Sectorists, Human Cultists, and Galaxy Partitionists. So what are all these groups? Most of them are brand new to me, but I thought it would be fun to run through them and try to guess what each group might stand for individually. I want to make it very clear, I have no idea about a lot of these, I'm just having some fun speculating. But let's start at the beginning with the easy one, Anto Krieger, the Separatist. I assume that's just a continuation of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Obviously, they were defeated at the end of the Clone Wars, but just like we're seeing the Empire have some little pockets of control in The Mandalorian after the battles of Andor and Jakku, it makes sense that some members of the Separatist army would live on to some degree. Most of the droid army was shut down by Darth Vader on Mustafar, but we've seen in Star Wars Rebels that some droids didn't get the signal. We also know B-1 battle droids will be an enemy in the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel, Survivor. Maybe we'll meet Anto Krieger and his droids in that game. It seems more likely that we would meet him before Andor, because the most recent episode showed that the ISB has a potential lead on his rebel cell. But let's move on to Neo-Republicans, apparently led by someone named Maya Pei. That group sounds like it could be the closest to what the Rebel Alliance eventually becomes, since its full name is the Alliance to Restore the Republic, and of course, they do eventually defeat the Empire and quickly form the New Republic. The name Maya Pei is new to me, but the idea of this faction makes sense. A small group that wants to go back to the way things were before the Clone Wars, or maybe the Neo prefix suggests that they want to start from scratch, but still create a republic in the Empire's place. The Gorman Front is another one we can make a solid guess on. Mon Mothma has already mentioned the Gorman people in multiple episodes. They are being oppressed by the Empire, their shipping lanes are being blocked off, and they are protesting that. I imagine the Gorman Front is the face of that opposition against the Empire. Since the Star Wars Legends days, their protests led to a massacre which encouraged Mon Mothma and other politicians to create the Rebel Alliance. We know that to take place in about 3 years' time in canon, so it's coming, and the series writers seem intent on reminding us of the Gorman name. I think we will see it all play out in Season 2 of the series. The Partisan Alliance is an interesting one. First, I think that could be what Andor meant when he asked if Luthen was Alliance in Episode 4 of the series, but Saw's own people are known as the Partisans, so I imagine there is another group out there very similar to Saw's, led by a completely different person. I kinda like that idea, that there are two militant groups in the galaxy that are so similar in their methods and their ideals, but the two leaders refuse to work together. We know from the Onderon arc of the Clone Wars that Saw has an ego on him. He was jealous when his sister was elected leader of their resistance group. This episode reminds us that he is not a cooperative man. I bet he is furious someone else took his group's name. I'm going to combine Sectorists and Galaxy Partitionists because I kind of get the same interpretation from both of those names. The galaxy is broken up into sectors, so I imagine the Sectorists just want to let each sector govern themselves. Maybe they're tired of having one centralized government ruling everything. Galaxy Partitionists sound like they could be similar. It could be another partisan/partisan alliance thing where they have the same basic ideas but they can't agree on the details. Maybe the Partitionists want different lines drawn on the galactic map, but I would guess both groups want to remove the large government in favor of several smaller ones. And finally, we come to Human Cultists, definitely the weirdest name of the group. We know that the Clone Wars inspired a lot of non-human sentiment against both droids and aliens. The Separatist army obviously used droids, and many of the Separatist worlds were made up of non-human citizens. Not all of them, there were plenty of humans in the CIS, but a significant portion were aliens. So my guess would be that the Human Cultists are a racist extremist group. They want to fight the Empire, but not for the betterment of the entire galaxy, probably only for humans. And that's everyone Saw mentioned, for now. We could see more groups pop up over the course of the series. I don't think we're really meant to know who each of these rebel cells are or what they stand for. It's more just a quick illustration for us to see how many disparate cells are out there and how difficult it's going to be to unite any of them, which will then make Mothma's accomplishments that much more impressive when it happens in Season 2. Unfortunately, it's doubtful the Gorman Front will be around anymore. But this is such a fun example of tip-of-the-iceberg storytelling, as our friends at Force Center like to say. Star Wars has always been full of fun and intriguing mentions of things like the Clone Wars that are just meant to give the universe life and flavor, and then sometimes those things get entire animated series. Saw's list of rebels reminded me of Jyn and Cassian listing off Imperial codenames on Scarif in Rogue One, where Star Wars fans go, "Ooh, what's Warmantle? What's Blacksaber? What's Cluster Prism?" And then 5 years later, the Bad Batch starts to answer those questions. But that's it for today. Just some fun speculation. Let me know what you think any of these organizations might be in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for all our Andor coverage, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page for our video reactions and audio commentaries for every new episode. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.